Hey everybody, and welcome to nice to see you. Nice on this wonderful Tuesday. Welcome to Well FM's NFT Project Showcase. I am your host DC, and today I want to welcome two amazing comic book artists, Josh Blaylock and our very own Arsenic Lullaby. If you don't know who he is, boy, you haven't been watching these streams. But today, these two gentlemen are going to take us through a new exciting NFT project called Comic Boxels. Welcome to both of you. How are you?
Very good, DC. How are you? Gosh, it's early.
It is very early. I feel like I just woke up, but that was about 4 or 5 hours ago. So, most of us know Doug, but Josh, this is your first time on, so please tell us about yourself. And
Yeah, sorry, I think I was muted there for a second. Yeah, thank you, Doug. This is like the opposite of your schedule.
I'm up at the crack of noon. This is dreadful.
I know. I'm Josh Blaylock. I've been in comics for a long time. Maybe longer than Doug. I'm not sure. But we've I'm been in crypto though for quite some time on the sidelines, and launching a new project called Comic Boxels. I've been I guess a little in the past, I've done everything from I got put on the map bringing like G.I. Joe back from the dead and being like the first publisher and artist or writer to bring something from the 80s back. Started off like a whole trend. And then we did every license thing under the sun. And then I've published a lot of creator-owned original books. We've had some movie deals here and there and worked with all kinds of brands and celebrities and everything else. And, I've just been, all of that just sort of like took a back seat to crypto when I learned about it. And then with NFTs though, it's just like, this is what I've been waiting for all this time for me to be able to do what I do and actually have that, earn crypto and actually have a community that's excited about it. And I can't wait to really get going with this. So.
man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, DC, you're back. I was just gonna see how much awkward silence I could draw out. Josh isn't as much as a microphone hog as I am. So I wanted to see if I could just let him twist a little bit for making me get up this early.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Now, okay, so we had Josh introduce himself. So go ahead. Tell us about yourself, Doug, please.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Teach me how to hype better.
No, you did fine. Well, Josh and I were both indie comic book publishers way back in the day. So I published and still publish a comic called Arsenic Lullaby, and I've done work for Mad Magazine and Comedy Central and Image and just a bunch of weird projects along the way, and eventually ended up in crypto. And I think Josh and I are in similar positions in the sense that we're coming from the comic book industry as independents, where we had to just fight and claw and bite and scratch for every shred of attention, and not a level playing field by any stretch of the imagination when you're competing for shelf space with Marvel Comics and DC Comics, companies that have billions of dollars and decades of brand recognition, and you having an idea and talent and skill, yet no backup, no war chest to speak of, and no brand recognition. You get to compete with that person for shelf space, and brother, good luck.
And on top of that, in between a monopolized industry with like one distributor for 30 until like a year ago.
So right? Yes, yeah. Competing for shelf space and room in a catalog wherein there is one distributor for every single comic book on earth. Good luck. Have at it. So Josh and I have managed to scrape and fight and survive, and now we're in the crypto space where it's a relatively level playing field, and there's enthusiasm. everyone isn't jaded, and there isn't just two giants like Marvel and DC just bludgeoning every new idea that comes out of the box.
It's the opposite of like, there's such the whole symptom of like the crabs in the bucket pulling each other down when some, it's like that's what the industry feels like a lot of times. And when you really get in, when you finally figure out, NFTs and crypto, which is not easy, but it's just like there's a giant crab in there like, here, let me help you. It's like, just like he already got out and he's like twice this, like 5 times the size now, and he's helping everybody out. That's what it feels like. And but it is, man, you have to really jump in and stumble around. And as someone who understood the lingo, been in the space for a long time, gone to crypto conferences, helped organize crypto conferences. I wrote a book just to I had to make my little stamp and do something. So back in 2017, I finally wrote a book called the Bitcoin Comic Handbook, and published it in 2018. Fortunately, there's not a bunch of wrong stuff in there, so it's pretty much accurate.
It's held up fairly well.
Very outdated terms. Like I use the term colored coins as like a possible next layer they're going to be building, and what would become NFTs. But I wasn't wrong about anything. I wasn't. I kept but that those little things really show people like, hey, okay, this guy's been here for a minute and he really cares about this space, and yeah. So, but it was not easy. I did a generative art project, actually with the same company, Nervous developers Nervous.net, I think. They're the same guys that did the Atom Bomb Drop. We worked with them on a project called Chill City NFTs, these little penguins from characters that I had from years ago. And, it did okay. I'm determined to find a way to make those work and really incentivize people later with them. But there's, right now they're just kind of sitting there. And then we were going to do a thing of just art drops, and, but then the whole craze came and went with the one-of-ones for a while. And, I kind of had to step back and just focus on me personally as a creator, which the omniscient crypto algorithm seems to always do. It always seems to bring it back to the individual, and you have to focus on doing the stuff yourself. And then figuring out where you fit in the community. It just took a while to kind of crack what I want to be this bridge between, what I want to do personally, what I think the NFT community will care about and resonate with, and what will still help the traditional comic creators and audience come over and play in the sandbox if they want to. We're having way too much fun already, as it is, and cannot keep up. It's like it accelerates so fast. All the creativity that's going on here, but man, it's like the people are coming. I don't know when they're going to be here, but they're coming eventually.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you've been in the space for a while. What brought you into crypto itself?
Greed.
Good answer.
Pure unadulterated greed. Wait a minute. This money is real money. This is real money. Oh.
I'll go. People think I'm some kind of more social commie liberal, bleeding art liberal, which I kind of am. But at the same time, I'm like, what really brought me into this was some libertarian anger of the financial system and manipulation, the whole crash of and back in 2008, really hurt me. And I just, I was already studying, I just had a weird interest in that kind of stuff as a business owner, learning about the financial system and monetary history and all that. And when that happened, I just dove in. And then I had, all of a sudden like way less to work to do for a couple of years. I was still putting out books, but not at the level we were. And I just dove in and gotten really concerned about where the dollar was going to go, where like technology was going to go, all kinds of things, and how it could ever have any possible good ending. And then I learned about Bitcoin around 2011, started paying attention around 2012. And I just said, oh my, this answers every question every concern I can throw at it. This technology, this is it. Like someone had the same concerns and they figured it out. And that just sucked me in. I bought some like really early on and then got rid of them like an idiot. And then, I had some stolen back in the local Bitcoin days and didn't know what I was doing. And then had some bank accounts closed down a few years later because it was just because they saw I did a crypto transaction. And so I got scared for a while.
Wait, what?
Around 2017 is when I really said, okay, I've got to really get serious about this. And then that's when, so I put the book out, and that introduced me to some really great people.
Whoa. Back up to the bank accounts getting frozen. Did you hear him blow past right there?
I heard it. Yeah, we should definitely talk about that for just a second.
What happened? That can happen? Hold on, that can happen?
Not really now, but no, this was like actually this was, I don't know, 2014. Like I honestly don't remember where I had bought some, but yeah, I had a couple of different banks, and all of a sudden one account was just shut down. So I went to the other one and started doing it there, and then one was shut down, and the manager, like the clerk, just said, "Hey, your bank account's not open anymore." And I'm like, "What?" So I would go over. They said, "Well, you're gonna have to talk to the manager," because the person at the counter just they had no idea. They're just confused. And the manager just wouldn't say a word. It was so bizarre, just sitting in a in the little room.
Like you're the guy from Breaking Bad or something.
Yeah. Like
it's not a non-grata. You're using that digital stuff. Whoa.
It was this weird thing of like, I don't know. There was nothing. They knew I didn't do anything wrong, but I don't know. Like they must have just been told by some upper management, like, hey, close these things down. And maybe because they legally, they could do what they want. Maybe they just didn't want to say like, oh, well, they don't want it out there that they were clamping down on it or something. Right. It was just the most bizarre thing I've ever experienced. And then, so I got spooked, and I was like, well, I'm not doing anything with my business with this, nothing. I'm, I'll just, I'll do only on a personal level. I don't know. I just, I forget exactly what, it's been so long ago, what times, I really completely walked away for a while. And then, but once the exchanges all started popping up and then, Coinbase was rocking and rolling and then you can see like, okay, one of my main banks that I use for all my business accounts and everything was still fine, and I've been with them for a long time. I said, okay, they're not freaking out if I make a Coinbase purchase. Okay, this is safer now to get into it without jeopardizing everything else I've spent my life doing. And then now it's like a completely different story. Obviously it's just, but man, it is one of those like sort of you feel like it's like a Wild West, OG story now. When a 20-year-old comes into crypto and makes like $1 million in 6 months, and he's like, you don't know, back in my day, I had to go down to the coffee shop and show a stranger my smartphone.
But what's funny about the story
the bank clerk told me to get packing. He said, get out of town, stranger. We don't want your kind around here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. This story is basically the prime example, of a shady bank basically telling you what to do. They're shutting down your accounts. You have no idea. They're not giving you the answer why they did it. This is the total use case for why crypto is the next evolution of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why there are a lot of people who did, they had way more money than I did to play around with it back then, and then they amassed a lot, and then they saw the banks doing stuff, and they just kept quiet, and they've just been hodling ever since, and now they're worth like $200 million. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. So I guess those stories are fun to tell, but they're worth like I've been around for a minute. I didn't just get into crypto because I wanted to do some stoner cats, like.
So, I mean, that's a good segue for, okay, so, you've had this experience with crypto, you understand it, and we know what's up with banks, right? And now you're transitioning. I mean, you've been doing comic books for years. You kind of put two and two together. You've seen NFTs. You had briefly mentioned that, you saw the one-of-ones going, and then that kind of paused. The hype for those kind of paused a bit. And now we're kind of trending on these big projects. But it's kind of like this same model that goes on and on and on, where you have this large number of whatever, and then people want to buy those whatever, but we're not getting much utility out of those things. We're just kind of getting something that we could put on Twitter and kind of show off. So tell us how this, your experience with crypto coming into today's world of now NFTs are here to stay. They're only growing. The space is growing quite substantially. Tell us how this transition has been for you and where you hope to take it.
I wouldn't even call for me I would not even a transition anymore, other than like an abrupt like teleportation. Because now you finally sort of like hit that tipping point where you like get the crack in the dam and then it all opens up. I have so many projects now I'm working with in the crypto space to develop comics content. I can't keep up with it all, and it's really, fortunately, because I've been publishing for 20 years, I can have, I have a really great team. We can keep, the company pretty much runs itself. You're not supposed to work in your business all the time anyway as an owner. And I have Kit's an awesome, my assistant publisher, and then I have great editors and, people behind the scenes. And we're putting out our regular traditional comics. So on the crypto, it's no secret I'm working with Gitcoin, some of the most talented Ethereum developers in the world. And they have, we just teased out yesterday a follow-up to the first Gitcoin comic that we did. That's very niche. That is a very niche project to that community, but it's really, really fun. And shout outs to Disruption Joe, who's one of our advisors who helped set up that relationship. And we're working with Arcadian's NFTs, the game, going to be developing a comic for them. And one of the biggest ones, I'm the chief storyteller of Punk's comic. It's Punk's comic, Meta Hero, the whole Pixel Vault team, and that's just been incredible to watch that project. And they're approaching it from a hardcore.
I can't have it in here.
What's he doing?
Oh my God!
Back there?
Trying to fix things. Sorry.
What's he doing?
Sorry.
We were trying to listen in on your private conversation.
Yeah.
Well, it's.
I didn't know if I was talking over that or not, so I didn't want to.
No, it's amazing to me, and I think you too, Josh. How much real estate there is out there, like intellectual property wise, in the sense that we're in a space now, and you have a skill set and I have a skill set, and there's a huge need for it because we have this medium of NFT, and it could be a one-of-one, it could be a comic, it could be anything. And the amount of people who are open to trying new things and seeing where this is going to go and what's going to be the big thing and what people are going to be interested in is just, it's like a deluge of interest and a deluge of people going, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, let's see if this works. And and people ask from, about once an interview, where do you think NFTs are going to go? Are they going to go here or are they going to go there? And my answer is they're going to go in every single direction. There's going to be, there's going to be comic books. There's going to be NFT trading cards. There's going to be NFT one-of-ones. There's going to be NFT music. It's going to be everything. Any kind of creative enterprise, big or small, is going to have its place. It's going to have room. And it's going to have interest.
Well, as people learn that they can start selling the shit that they own in their literally in their house on some levels without actually getting rid of it. So, you can my TV is tokenized, so technically I don't even own it anymore, but I don't want it. So that's a stupid example, but stuff like that with anything valuable and man, it just with what's funny. So in comics, if you're in small press at all, you've done any kind of self-publishing, or you're a Comic-Con, like even semi-pro who goes to the cons, everyone, it's just this wandering nomadic class of merchants. We're we go from city to city. We see the people we know. You'll live 2 miles from someone in your own town. You'll never see them at home, but you'll see them at every other city around the continent. And then so we're already primed that way. And I can say on a bigger level, more sophisticated level, because I've run company and dealt with huge brands and all kinds of talents and things. I know the contracts and the all that side of licensing and everything more, and have done worked with toy production and worked in the film production and all that. So I'm sitting here okay, I'm in a position where I've done a little bit of everything, and a lot of times though in the traditional comic space, if you throw too much at people, they're instantly suspicious of you. It's whoa, slow down. And in NFTs, it's just the ideas don't stop, because that's what NFT is, less of the what and more of the how. But what's happening is you've now got thousands of people out there who suddenly find they own a licensed property. Oh man, I own a Bored Ape, I own a Punk, I own a Cool Cat, whatever. I can do anything I want with this. Oh, okay, I'll put it on a shirt. But if they have something that's extra valuable, they find it's kind of like if you're just walking down the street to buy a sandwich and somebody pops out of nowhere and George Lucas is he just appears, he's boom, you own Luke Skywalker, and he runs away, or some random Cantina Star Wars character that was in the background that has a fan base. And then you're well, I guess I have this now. You don't know what to do with it. You post it online, you realize, hey, I get followers if I post this. So yeah, you've democratized ownership of licensed properties. So that's been really fun to watch. And when you go to most of the people who are experts in that field to explain this to them, and that's my world, they're what? They just think, what's in it? They still, maybe you think I should buy Bitcoin? They don't know. They're so far behind, and they're not even that far behind. It's this world is moving so fast. Time travels differently in this world.
It's in dog years here. If you miss a month, you've missed 6 months.
Yeah, you just got to tell them the thing is, no one's really going to own this. Everyone's going to own this, but it's still you need to do the licensing and branding. There's all kinds of opportunity here. Here's 5 ideas, but they might not be right. Just jump in and try it. And that's when it comes back down to that, what I think is some crazy, godlike weird algorithm with crypto. It always forces you to have to get involved yourself. You have to choose to be actively participating. It seems to,
it's the opposite of the comic book industry where we're from, where in the comic book industry, they want Marvel, they want DC, they want Captain America and Thor, and they don't care who drew them. They don't care who's writing them. They recognize this character, and that's what they want. And they're not, by and large, interested in anything else. Where in the NFT space, they want to know, hey, who's this guy that's drawing this? How long has he been around? What's he up to? Who's this character? What's this guy? They want to know about where this idea came from, where this NFT came from, who's running this project, what's going on. They want to know the person. They want to be involved on a ground level, on a personal level, and know where this is coming from, where this is originating. They want to be part of something new, as opposed to, I want Thor 519 to complete my run. And I don't care who drew it or what it looks like.
That's true. But you get both, because you get the if you're an artist and you're wanting to actually sell your art, you get the most like warm reception and like the most like passionate group of actual one-of-one like art buyers, original art buyers that I've ever seen before, and younger people than ever too, spending real money on stuff. But then on the PFP side, with things like Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's more like the mentality of people with RPGs. Like, you have a pride, and you've been given the tools to be able to create your own thing, but you have pride that's in your character, with all these attributes that you have. So it's like a different. You got both of them, and but that's where with kind of like in comics, I try to explain to people that come in, they want to sort of like make this weird disruptive comic reading experience. They like animate something while you're reading it. It's like, no, there's reading, there's the medium of sequential art. It's different than prose. It's different than movies. It's sequential comic book medium. They want to read it, and if you don't understand that, you just probably never really read comics before. But then there's collectors, and there's people who collect the artists or writers. There's people who just collect, like, I want a hot chick on a cover. They collect, or they collect just art they like. And then there's people, and then there's some people that overlap in all of those, But so NFTs, are more. There's the collectible side, and then there's the art collector side, and that's where, to segue this into the Comic Boxels, I'm hitting all those notes, because look, like, if you just want to read the comic, just go to Comixology or go to our website of any publisher or ours and buy the PDF and read it, or go to the comic shop and buy the comic. If you care about the collectability anywhere beyond that, though, okay, we give you all of these things that are going to be in there we can talk about, and also you still get to read the comic. And if you want, you can participate in the art auctions. So you get everything. And that'll open up access to the community aspect of it. If you're like a Comic-Con type of, one person who wants to know the artist or who follows them on Twitter, you'll actually have access to some creator engagement at the same time. So it just hits all the notes of like the reading, the collecting, the interaction,
Yeah, and also the support, because I've noticed too that in the NFT community, they want to support something good. I mean, it's there. There's a small percentage of that in the comic book industry, but far less. Like, if they can get you to come down an extra $1, $10 for a trade paperback. Well, you take 9. They're trying to dick you down. Whereas in the NFT community, they're trying to build you up. Oh, I like this thing that you're doing. Here's money, make more. I want to make sure that you're creating more, that you're doing good. Let's bring this up. So there's that aspect of it too. There's, you can go to Comixology, and then the creator probably gets 50 cents or something like that. And if you buy something at the comic book store, I mean, that's certainly a good way to go, and I encourage that. But as a publisher, and you're a publisher, Josh, but the distributor takes like 60%, 65%. Like, people don't understand.
Any distributor in any wholesale book trade, it's
right. People, you sell a comic book for $10, and people think they gave you $10. No, you actually gave me $4. I mean, appreciate it, but you gave $4 to the distributor, $2 to the store, and I got $4. And then, as opposed to an NFT where 100% of what they're giving you, and they know this. And I think there's value to them in that as well, because they see something that they like, they see a creative enterprise, and they want it to grow and to live and to thrive, and they're able to actually do that, as opposed to, like when you give your money to some charity where they take 60% off the top and drive a Lamborghini on the way to giving some rice to a homeless person. Here, my homeless good man. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and catch my tea time. I bought some new golf clubs.
That's what, like, speaking of the charity, it just makes me think, because I mentioned working on the Gitcoin comics. they're raising money for public goods projects, and they haven't quite, to my knowledge, transitioned into like real world, physical world stuff yet, but they're affecting it through what they're doing with tech. They're raising like $1.9 million in a matter of days with like the moonshot bots that they launched, conceived of in about 3 days. That's never ever happened before in not-for-profit world. It's pulling in. That stuff's awesome all around. So remember, Doug, when we were talking a couple years ago, I think already, and you were saying how you're like, yeah, but you had just started dabbling with selling, stuff online, and you Steam it or whatever, maybe after that. But you said not only do they buy something from you like online from a secondary market, they'll track you down and find you and tell you like how amazing this was, and here, I wanted to make sure you got this money.
Yeah, just that barrier of needing to have enough computer savvy to figure out what a Bitcoin is, which doesn't take a lot, but just that little barrier, we have separated the wheat from the trough to such a large degree, because Josh and I come from a comic book industry where, by and large, you have to grab someone's attention with work that's levels above, say, Marvel's comics, and then take the link to your online store and write it on the palm of their hand, and take that hand and slap them in the face with it. And then maybe they'll understand that, oh, this is where I get more. Whereas in the Bitcoin community, somebody sees something that I created, for example, some NFT I created, they see it was drawn by Arsenic Lullaby. They go and find me. They find my store. They order something. They send me an email saying, hey, I got your comic. Where do I get more FTs? Tell me about you. Like they will find you, and they will find a way to support you, instead of you having to drag them over and slap them in the face with your work and make them understand that you're trying to accomplish something creatively.
The whole thing about the barrier to entry was, which we're actually trying to help. I'm not, I don't know. The barrier to entry will be dissolved at some point, but
I hope that.
No, but the people.
I want it to be harder. Josh, I like that force field of, if you're a Luddite.
Every time it gets easier, we're gonna make it harder for ourselves. Don't worry about that. It's gonna get harder and harder to keep up. Don't you worry. There are plenty of headaches to come.
I like this space now where anybody who's in there has a brain. I love this. If they know about crypto, I know on some level they're going to be able to grasp how to function and understand what I'm saying.
Oh man, I flew out to I got that really first hit of that when I flew out to some Bitcoin conference back in 2013 in Las Vegas, and I was like, I gotta go check this out. And it was, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people there, and I was kind of, you kind of expect, okay, there's gonna be some like kind of weird techie people that you kind of have in your head, because being from Comic Cons and having certain personas, you like Comic Con bingo, think little games that pop up where I know this kind of person, this archetype, and this stereotype, and I'm expecting like, okay, here's gonna be the hacker person, here's kind of the dorky tech bro, here's the weird fringe, libertarian or something, and it's like everybody there, you get there and like, there's never been a better group of people who all have some sort of common, I don't know, some common link that's like, everyone is so smart, and you never, and interesting, like you've always, there's never, you go to any crypto event, you're never gonna have a better chance of, like, if you just throw a rock and hit someone or randomly point to someone and you had to have a conversation with them, it's probably going to be interesting, and you're probably going to be challenging each other to keep up. Like, it's so refreshing, and it's energizing, and if you don't like it, it'll just drain you and you'll run away.
Right. Well, I think this space attracts people with one.
I didn't want to throw rocks at people. Sorry.
We'll save that for the next time we're at a Comic-Con. We don't need you losers anymore. Get moving.
I'm not here to hate on them, but that's what you're here for.
Yeah, I'm the yin to Josh's yang. Like I'll say that. You don't want to say that, I'll say it. But I think this space attracts one, people with ambition, and two, people with a natural curiosity, and just that filter of people without those two things aren't here right now makes this space just wonderful to be in.
Yeah.
You know, anybody you deal with,
Yeah.
they're either going to be very full of ambition or full of natural curiosity, or both. And that is a wonderful environment to be in. It really is. Because it's an environment of, yeah, I'll give this a try. What's this all about? Or, hey, give this a try. Hey, look at this. I mean, I'm learning as much about art as I'm showcasing. And that's no lie. Like, you know, and I know a thing or two about making art. But I've learned as much here as I've contributed easily, and that goes for every aspect of crypto. It's fascinating. Like you just said, Josh. Anybody, you know, I didn't go to that convention, but anybody online, like I can open an email if it's from an NFT person, and I don't dread it. I'm like, oh, who's this character? Hey, a stranger sent me an email. What's this character? Oh, he's an NFT.
Well, I will say,
hey, talk to me, buddy. What's going on?
They like Ethereum. They like NFTs.
Right. There's some weird
Everybody
cryptic
has
NFT word in this email. I'm opening this first. What's up, buddy? What's going on, sister? Let's chat.
It's
I've never had
true.
a better group of clients to work with. Like, I mean, the Pixel Vault people are incredible to work with, and like, I mean, the you know, everybody I'm working with now is just, yeah, it's, you know, I can't say enough cool things about everybody. It's like, you know, the feedback of it, there is critiques or feedback that makes sense. Like, you know, it's you know, you're constantly challenged. Like you definitely don't ever feel like the smartest person in the room in any crypto team. You're all, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's so many people from different backgrounds and different countries, and you know, all over the world. So it just feels international, and you know, you can talk with people that actually like what you like. You know, it's something that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, and you can see it in the amount of creativity that's going on, and not just creativity in I painted this thing, or I drew this thing, or I wrote this book, but the creativity in how it's being put out, like, and how it's being distributed and presented to people. You know, like the things Josh is doing with the Comic Boxels. That's innovative stuff, and there's innovative stuff going on in every aspect of this space. Nobody's just sitting still. Everybody's saying, "Hey, I can do this now.
Yeah.
Hey, I can. Why don't we try it this way?" It's really amazing.
That's a great segue. Fantastic. And we have our audio issues solved. So they've been solved for a while. So I'm excited about that. So I'm going to put up the Comic Boxels website for everyone to see. And let's focus on this. So tell us all about it. You know, we got a bunch of people watching right now. They're all interested. A lot of people are excited about, you know, they've seen both of your art, honestly, and they're asking a bunch of questions. But let's focus on this for a second. Tell us everything.
Before we jump in, I just wanted to say that you know, as long as I've known Josh, it's been quite a while since he's been excited about drawing something. But when he was making this NFT for Moon Wars, he's like showing me bits of it. Hey, check this out! Like he was genuinely having fun again. It was great.
Yeah, the one trade-off when you run the business is, you know, you if you're gonna draw like as an artist full time, that's like all you. If you're gonna like draw a comic, especially, that's all you're doing. It takes all day, every day. That's your life. So I've always sort of sacrificed not drawing as much in order to run the business, and so the business is actually kind of part of my art. You know, all of this. You know, I consider all this my art, just like I do setting up at a Comic-Con and how you present it and all that. You know, and that's another cool thing in the NFT space. Sort of the creativity of how the projects are created and sold is actually appreciated as much as the art, the illustrations and stuff themselves. Yeah, thanks, Doug. So yeah, we are kicking off the launch of Comic Boxels with an art auction, which is at a awesome, absurd concept I came up with called Moon Wars. And all you need to know is Everybody wants to go to the moon. Okay, it's the distant future. Congratulations, you went to the moon. Everybody did. You can all shut up now because we all mooned. Only one problem: there's no room left. So fight. And it's just this fun concept where we can bring in crypto artists and we can bring in traditional comic artists. And if you want to draw the most like hyper niche, crypto reference Easter egg art piece, you can, or you can just draw some cool sci-fi shit with, people fighting in outer space. And it all sort of falls under the whole fun Moon Wars, banners. So that's, this is something we're doing for fun to sort of kick this whole thing off. And we have an amazing slate of Bart Sears, legendary comic book artist, history with Marvel and DC. He even like created all the characters for like the 80s cartoon Cops, which is like my one weird thing I geeked out over. Then we have Howard Chaykin, who's like a super well-known artist in the space. And we've
what's Howard done?
We've got a Black Flag or American Flag, the United States of Hysteria, Satellite Sam, and actually one of the art pieces we've got is actually taken from Satellite Sam, but it was like so perfect and it's never been tokenized. It's like this awesome space bubble guy who's just been shot by this like femme fatale character, and it was like too perfect.
It was perfect. I was pretty irritated actually. I'm like, oh shit, that's really good.
Yeah, but if you play that, I think just for fun, we can play. Yeah, that's going to lead into our kickoff party for the Comic Boxels. But go ahead and play that Moon Wars ad if we can.
Okay, here we go, and I'll rely on the audience to tell me if there's audio issues. Okay, here we go.
Otherwise, we'll post a link later.
We will.
That's my super privacy token guy. Yeah, it was weird. The music like slowed down and sped up. Or they do a remix.
I'm running good today. I think I need more caffeine, but we'll hit that a little bit later.
You're good.
So that was a pretty awesome video.
Yeah, thanks. Shout outs to Luis Colindres, who's our animator. So I've got a piece in there. Doug has a piece in there as well. I did this one that's like I just crammed every possible little coin and token reference into it that I could, and it's just having fun. That's the Monero. He's even got Nimble Wimble written on it on his thing. I don't know if that's even going to happen, but he's like the privacy guy. It's why he's got the his eyes and his mouth are covered as well. There's like a Cardano girl. There's the big weird brute chain link guy who has a literal like block and a chain he's swinging around with Aave linked on it, and Doge and Polkadot have crashed into the mountain on the moon. In my world, there's mountains on the moon, and then Bitcoin is like up there at the top of the mountain, like getting like crazy bolts of lightning come out of them. There's SEC security watchdogs walking around in the background. It's just really fun. So that'll be a one-of-one piece. I don't know. if we'll be showing all of these off in more detail.
Are you on the website, DC?
Are
you
on
the website?
Yeah.
I think if you scroll down a bit, you can see some of the NFTs.
Yeah.
We
kind of hit you with the auction, and then we hit you with the voxels, and then
there's
we go into detail on both. Yeah.
So that's
you should be able to magnify those a little bit. You can't click on them, but they should be able to be zoomed in.
Let's try some super special zoom in powers. There we go. Woo! Hey, I know hotkeys on computers.
I've got a soft spot for the OG Arise chicken memes. So I've got 2 Litecoin chickens in there.
Oh
my! You know, I'm like hoping this. I'm trying to like bring. This was a little bit of a bringing it back. Like I think I started drawing this before Bored Ape Yacht Club even existed, but you know, now there's so many things crowded in all the NFT PFP characters. I'm like, no, we're bringing it back. These are the coin. These are the coins, baby.
This is an awesome NFT. I mean, you really shows the space because of all these characters, and you know, you got the Monero, you got the DeFi chain link, like you said. I mean, he's got a chain. I mean, he's got to have a chain. It's chain link.
There's Ethereum token factories in the background, but
yep.
the little coins in the background aren't necessarily all like ETH tokens, but there's a Binance one back there. There's the DeFi robot. Hopefully this is like my super try hard piece to show like, please accept me. I know what I'm doing. I know the space.
I know things.
No, you do. It's true. You got Bitcoin kind of.
It had been so long. Like I'm like, oh, I forgot Josh is really good. Look at this. Look at like
I do like their.
I forgot Josh can draw for kind.
I gotta remind people and remind myself about a couple times a year that I can actually draw.
I'm like, oh yeah, he can draw too. I forgot about that.
I'm sneaky.
This is going to be an auction.
Yeah, that'll be a 1 of 1. Yeah.
1 of 1. Well, yeah, there we go. Okay. And we're looking.
Also, I hope Doug's is supposed to be a 1 of 1 because that's what I have it being there.
Sure, whatever.
Oh wow, yeah. I love these pieces, honestly.
I mean, if Howard Chaykin's and Bart's don't sell, to hell with me. But if these guys, including Doug, these guys don't sell for a good amount, I'm gonna get over it. But something's wrong. Because actually, if you scroll down the Bart Sears one, is actually a one he did from we couldn't the GIF. We got to embed a video in there because the GIFs are too big. But this piece is incredible. It's like this was for a series he did called Giant Killer. But it just so perfectly fit this sci-fi theme we have, and there's so much going on in it. So we added all the elements of the lightning and moving the flames and the planets around and everything. We're gonna have open sales from him and Howard as well. And so yeah, that's these are all gonna go into what right now is planned to be a 48-hour auction, and also a 48-hour time period for the open sales. And anybody to segue into the actual Boxels, anybody who buys any of the open sale items, or anybody who bids on the auction, everyone will be receiving a free comic voxel as part of our kickoff. So nice. My developer Guy Veeder, shout outs to Traveling Tech Guy. He is working out the specific details on how we are going to do that. But yeah, that's the plan. So we're coming out with some big guns right out the gates. So
yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is totally sick. I mean, even the lightning. I love how it just cascades down like that. That's pretty badass.
That's a GIF you said, Josh?
Yeah, we have the high res, the video file, but yeah, this is all. So all of our animation is done in working with a local Chicago artist, Luis Colindres. He does a lot of crazy EDM videos for bands you'd like to play on stage behind them and stuff. And it's kind of funny. He's really good with all these effects. So sometimes I have to like tone it back because it's just like everything's like but I'm in love with all of these.
How do you get that into a GIF? Holy crap!
Yeah, it's
so hard.
That was my thought, DC.
I know.
How the hell did it?
Yeah,
anyone that works on art, I mean, with GIFs and stuff, you're just going, what?
What? I just like 2 weeks ago figured out how to make a GIF bigger than 1,500 pixels wide without crashing my computer.
It's true. It's true. A lot of the software that doesn't let you do it unless you have some special thing you're doing.
Right. The first attempt the first attempt at sending this to Josh had to be like 900 because I couldn't get my computer to stop crashing. And then I had to go back and, okay, I guess I'm going to have to learn some grown-up software now to actually make this big.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be beefing up our Web 2. Ironically, we're pretty good on Web 3 skills, but we need the Web 2 a little bit of help. But apparently I got some people. I didn't know I've been like making crazy like demands from people. Like, hey, give me a GIF of that, and they're like, okay. they're like over at home sweating. Yeah, let's roll on into the Boxels if staring at these beauties.
So this is an auction. It's coming up, and you said there's a set date or no?
Yeah, we are. What do we have done? September 22nd.
22nd. Okay, and then if you win the auction, then you'll get a Comic Boxel for free, and then a Comic Boxel is for everyone watching. Tell us.
I want everyone who bids on the auction. There will be a starting point, but yeah, so it's not just from zero. But everyone who bids on the auction.
It starts at 14 ETH, and then you get this free. You get this free thing.
Yeah.
See,
we'll get a Boxel, and then anyone who buys an open sale item will get a Boxel.
Oh,
so I really. Yeah, I kind of stole that from Blau, although he did it more as a surprise. He mentioned it on a Clubhouse chat or something, like a stream like this, but didn't actually tell people on the site. And then later they rewarded everybody with these extra tokens and NFTs. But I want to make it, so that if you put a serious bid on it, that you'll get one. So it'll I really just want to tie the whole thing together where, we do have separate artists right now, except for myself. We have separate artists working on the first comic. Like the Comic Boxels we're about to go through here, the first ones released are not comics with Chaykin or Sears involved, for example, or even Doug on the first round. But eventually I want to get it to where when there's a new Comic Boxel issue coming out, the artists that are in, contained that created that issue, they're having one-of-one auctions for sale, like every time a new one happens. So it's like every time you just sort of like, it's like an event. You're not only buying the new comic, it's sort of creating a vehicle for I want to say this is kind of a big FU to DC and Marvel and the way that they're handling the NFT policies, and they're trying to scare and blacklist all the artists that work for them, because fuck that. I'm trying to flip it so that whenever a new comic comes out, whether I published it or someone else published it, we're putting it out here, we're saying like, no, we're going to actually become a mechanism to help the artist sell the original art. So it'd be like if all of a sudden, what if Marvel and DC said, hey, we're going to actually create, something that helps, Spider-Man number 3,452 comes out tomorrow. We're going to help the artist. We're going to promote selling all the original art to that. So they don't even have to bother taking it to their dealer. So I think that's possible, to do with. I mean, you're not going to sell every single page, but you just pull out some of the cool shit and display it. So
I think it's a really great way, again, of bringing people, like, you hear the term bring people into the community. So I mean, we kind of need a term for when you bring somebody into an artist's work. You know, you get somebody into, say, who can I use? I hate using other people for an example because I'd rather talk about myself. But let's say Howard. Okay, they're reading Howard's comic, but now they can also get Howard's artwork, and they're now part of Howard's body of work. You know, they're part of the Howard idea or creative system. That's a good term for it.
And you've got a 40-year history of stuff you're being introduced to.
Right, you're part of you're getting involved in the Howard creative system, the Howard universe. Let's say. It's really. It's
I don't know where you're going with this.
Multi-medium, but it's in the same medium. I don't know what I mean. I mean, I know what I mean, but I don't know how to put it into words. Okay, if you go to like Marvel Comics, you buy the comic and you read about Thor and the end, and maybe you see that artist is good.
Ecosystem is the word you're looking for.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank
yes.
you. The whole ecosystem of the guy's work. So you see that you can read his comic, you can get a one-of-one, you can buy the original artwork or whatever. It's a whole all-encompassing experience of that particular creative person.
And that's
kind of why. Did any of that make any sense? Because I feel like okay, good. The concept in my head makes sense, but I'm like, you know, like if I like Josh's drawing, let's say, the way Marvel's doing things, I have to go through Marvel and that's it. And if I want to find Josh, I have to do a whole nother chore to find Josh, and then I have to go to a different place to find his artwork. I have to go through a whole research period to learn as much as I can or get more of his work from different things. But this way with the Crypto Boxels, if I like Josh's work, I see, hey, he's got these animated NFTs. Oh, he's good at writing. Oh, here's some stuff he drew. I'm in the door and I can absorb as much of it as I want and support it.
But they'll actually hire you based on your social media following. if it comes down to like neck and neck with equal talent, and they're like, well, they have a bigger following because they want your following. But they're a very
skeptical way of doing business over at Marvel.
Also shout outs to our voxel artist we're going to have on board as one of our advisors too is Bix Bitpixie. She's now she's just a voxel master. She's working with Crypto Boxels directly now. So if you scroll down a little bit, we'll get to see some of the general idea of what the boxes contain. There's a list. Each new edition of a comic boxel that comes out is going to have 5 randomly animated selected panels from that issue of the comic. But there's going to be a total of 20 to 25 panels from the comic. So it's a little overkill to animate the whole comic, but we're going to pull out the best, coolest panels from each issue and upgrade them. And then we're going to tokenize those. So there's a little bit of a sort of a card pack gamification to that where people are going to want to collect all of them. And then we're going to animate the cover, or if the book has multiple covers, we'll animate one of the covers that you'll get in that voxel. You'll get we will throw in some random selections of sort of like original sketches, maybe some behind the scenes stuff that may be thrown in as like a one-of-one, random reward. And then you'll have a little comic voxel box, which is the iconic white short box that, every comic nerd has a bunch of in their house and tries to hide from any significant other that they're embarrassed to show a comic collection to. Those little boxes, you can put them literally like on your shelf in your metaverse space. So that's a fun thing to add. And then that's really like, and you get a PDF. Like it's like, by the way, if you want to read the whole comic, that's in here as well. So but instead of just having it be like a Comixology or Amazon stored voxel, we'll have that we'll have that decentralized. And that's what the voxels, each issue of each voxel is going to be. And we're launching with these Genesis voxels. There's going to be 10,000 of the Genesis voxels that are going to give you special access to either be able to purchase if you want to hold on to it and you want to just buy the new Boxels as they're dropped, it'll allow you to buy something extra that someone else cannot get without owning one of those. And then there's going to be some special perks we throw in there where if you want to actually sacrifice and burn your Genesis Boxel in exchange for something really special, we're going to be throwing in some surprises. So that's that's what we're sort of really doing to kick it off and really hopefully capture like the serious NFT collectors who like that long-term hold, while still welcoming people who want to come in and just on an issue-by-issue basis. There's like an airplane flying by or something.
Yeah, my mic picks up these airplanes like you wouldn't believe.
That's crazy.
I know.
I think he's at the airport waiting for his cocaine delivery.
I live near.
I think he's on
airport.
a private jet.
I might be on a private jet. That's why we're having audio issues. But so this is really interesting because you found a way to really you have multiple ways to make it valuable. So you mentioned a burn feature. You mentioned some other things. So there's quite a bit of thought that went into this. It appears to me, and there's a lot of utility. Those are the things that I'm because I'm kind of discovering this with the community too. So. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing, that there's a ton of utility there. You get to use, you get something to use in crypto voxels. You got kind of a cool box you can put in your land or house or whatever. And then, you get a full comic to read, you get NFTs, you get special perks. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on here.
Yeah. This is from top to bottom, just really innovative because you have all the utility, you have all of this, and the comic book itself is top notch. This isn't, these guys, myself included, of course, but these guys Josh are bringing in, these guys are no joke. They've been doing comics a long time, and they're putting out quality work. They're not just, hey, I'm going to throw out a comic and put a Bitcoin on the cover, and there you go. Each of these could be by themselves, if they were just on a shelf, would be able to stand up story-wise and content-wise with any book out there being published. So, there's quality up and down in the book, in the art, in the utility of it. I mean, this is an innovative big deal.
Well, when you buy, so that's why I was like, okay, we need to incentivize people to buy the Genesis launch without needing to know what's to come, because the answer is, because this is a pipeline to all comics, you just sit back and wait until the thing that you like strikes you, or hold the thing forever. Because if you scroll down a little more, now that we have this like infrastructure set up for what's going to be in a voxel, now we open the floodgates to all creators, all publishers. It's like, this is again why crypto is awesome. You take that whole model of like, hey, how do we monetize the content from creators and libraries that have been sitting around, or new stuff, just as much new stuff as old stuff. How do you monetize that again? And it's just been really shitty deals, like you put it up for digital sale and you get like a penny for every $5 sold, or you get streaming. Now it's like, no, this is actually what I hope to do. I hope this flips it. I hope people start making more money from actual selling the digital sales than they do, from the print, and the print becomes a luxury for them. And they really start to think ahead of time about what's going to go into their comics to support the NFTs followers. That is amazing picture of Randy from Trailer Park Boys. One of the comics on our launch. And next to that is a story that I forced into that first issue called Bitcoins, where some like tech guys show up at the trailer park and they start to mine coins, but the guys think that it's all weed growing equipment until they break in and try to steal it all. So we have because I have this comic publisher, Doubles Do Comics is one of the first publishers in the lineup to release some of these voxels. So I'm taking several of the comics that I've actually co-created myself. Trailer Park Boys is one of our big licenses right now. We're going to be dropping boxes for all of these, and then our next wave is going to be speaking of slapping a Bitcoin on it. I had to include the covers from. I think I had to include the Bitcoin Comic Handbook because that was sort of like put my stamp in the crypto space. So it's going to be in there. Mercy Sparks is my baby. That's my main personal creation that I actually have a film deal with MGM Studios right now, developing that. But I've been doing that comic book for a long time. We've got like about close to 1,000 pages of content for that. What I love is now I can go back and re-release and reintroduce content to a whole new audience in a completely different way. So there's our publisher launch lineup. You scroll down there. So it's Doubles Due and Arsenic Lullaby kicking it off. We're gonna do a wave of Doubles Due issues, and somewhere in there, Arsenic Lullaby is gonna pop in with one of those. Doug sort of has a self-titled series, but he has several different volumes of that. So we're going to decide which one of those he's going to let us chop up and animate and add a whole other layer to it. And then
if it weren't for DC, that whole idea might be out the window, Josh, because all of those files for my entire life's work were sitting in the garage in storage. I thought they were on my tower. The wrong hard drive.
Oh my God.
DC asked about something I was looking for. Wait a minute. Where is everything? Where the hell is everything? There's like, what's going on? It was in a hard drive in the garage, literally in a box under some shirts. I'm like, oh my God.
It was going to be like when you have to like do a reprint of like a 70s comic, and you're like, no one's got the films. Oh, well, I guess we'll scan these comic pages.
I guess I'll track down all my old issues on eBay and scan them in one at a time. Here you go, Josh. Yeah, go ahead and animate this. It's at 150 DPI. There's a coffee stain on it.
So here's the beauty of this. So now we can partner with publishers to release 1,000 comics, right? But they have to be cool with this idea. They have to be cool with us doing the art launches with the artists that worked on it. So it's not going to be. We're not trying to collaborate with Marvel or DC on this. This is the indie route, ground up. But there's no reason. And there are a lot of comic book creators, say, who publish through Image Comics or through even people who used to publish Vertigo through DC. They own all of their own rights. The writer and artist co-own it together. So we'll be able to do, books that may have been published by someone else before. Maybe they haven't been for several years, but we can still do those. And there is absolutely no reason we cannot bring in brand new, unique crypto projects into this as well. So that's that's like the gist of it. So we're gonna do like the launch. The auction launch, sort of like little kickoff. Want to have a little party. I have a comic book shop in Gangnam town in Crypto Voxels. I think it's 2087. I'm not sure. Beauty Square, which was made possible by extremely generous Josie Bellini, Josie IO. She actually granted us, basically like a lease to build right there in that location. That's one of the benefits of getting in the crypto space here a few years ago in Chicago is meeting her. So yeah, we're going to work with BitPixie to do a little kickoff there. And I want to constantly post and showcase what we're doing at the comic shop in Crypto Boxels. So step 3, profit.
Man, that's awesome. And when you do that, maybe we could do something together and have the community come out, and I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, please. That would be incredible. Yeah.
And so the auction's kicking off in September 22nd, and then it looks like is it October 13th is going to be the launch party?
Oh shit, Doug! Now we actually have to do this. Yeah. So the auction is happening. Then that's my goal. We want to kick off the box launch October 13th. I think if anything needs to change on that, we should know by the time the auction starts to let everybody know what's up. So as you know, on crypto, you know it's live when it's actually live.
All right, that's a Wednesday and not a Friday, so we're good.
Well, and that's because that this is like our little winks and our nods to like that we're comic book nerds. Comics come out on Wednesdays. Comics have come out on Wednesdays for decades. That's when you go to the comic shop. That's when you get your new releases, and that's when you see your other friends that just you bullshit about who can beat up who, and
who would win in a fight in a race, Flash or Quicksilver.
Yeah, man, this is pretty awesome. It gives me that vibe when I was a kid. Going to the comic book shop and having the guy who owned it just stare at me for hours because I wouldn't leave, and I'd read every comic, and my parents didn't give me any money, so.
That'll be, oh my god, that's gonna be the crypto voxel spot. It's gonna be late. Be like, okay, buddy, okay, and then you can just teleport away. You couldn't teleport away from the comic shop before.
Okay, time to go.
This ain't a library, kid.
Yeah, get out of here.
Buy something or get out. Are you gonna have an old couch with duct tape on it in the comic book store, Josh?
We probably will now.
Okay. Every comic store I've ever been in, and I've traveled the country now, every single one of them has an old couch that's duct taped together, and it is like really gross. Why is it? I have no idea why.
How are you still?
Probably the same couch.
Most of the dungeons are gone now. I don't know where you find them.
I probably stay in hotels that are in swarthier areas than you do.
We would do these crazy tours. I think in like 2015, I was home maybe 6 months because we would just do these tours where, we would say part of this is just because I like to tour, and then I gave myself the crazy job of doing this for a while, and then it got to be too much, but I'm glad I did it. We connect Comic Cons together. Okay, here's 3 cons that are happening in a row. Hey, we could do like 3 comic shop signings en route to each show and do a whole, 2-3 week tours. So we got a big Sprinter van and just toured around, and it was a blast. But we would try to isolate the best possible comic shops in each area. So you look at their Facebook page for followers. You look at it. Is this a nice store? And so I guess that we came across some really amazing shops all across the country, which isn't always easy to do because the United States is a big country and a lot of it has nothing in it.
Yes, I will agree with you there.
Yeah, there's still plenty of rat hole comic book stores though. Trust me.
Do you imagine how fun it would be just to slap like a punk and like an ape or something on the side of a Sprinter van to fund it, and then just do a whole like nationwide tour? It'd be a blast. But I shouldn't say that because someone's gonna call me on it. And I'll be like, oh no, I'm too busy making NFTs.
Oh man, this has been awesome. Maybe. Man,
any questions or anything like that?
Well, we have. I'm looking through the audience questions, and that's why I'm kind of stalling here because we had a few audience questions. A few of them are focused on the bank incident you talked about, but
that's gonna like overshadow the entire interview.
I don't know. I think
interesting is interesting, Josh. That's all.
It could be a future story for a comic book for sure.
There you go. Josh's financial problems, volumes 1 through whatever.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of folks are excited about the project and just saying that, they're excited to see, the artist. I think the hardest part when you're a reader, you're not really focused on the artist. You're focused on, just reading the comic book and that kind of takes away from the artist, right? And I think that a lot of folks are pointing out that they want to know the artist, and that's what Doug was saying earlier was that people in the NFT space, we want to know you, we want to get to know you, we want to focus on you versus if I couldn't tell you any. I've been reading Marvel comics, DC comics, just regular comics for years, and I couldn't tell you. The only comic book artist I know is Doug here. but we want to know more. We want to see more. So I think that this kind of is the opposite of what we get with the mainstream, because we would never know. The readers never know. We just, unless we look. But this is the kind of thing that has value to a serious collector, and someone that wants to get into comic books.
Yeah, and not to repeat myself, but like, remember when you were a kid and you would get like a Spider-Man comic book at like the dentist, or at school they'd give one out about how to brush your teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those giveaway ones, and it said Spider-Man on it, but really it was just some half-assed thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How old are you?
It could very easily have gone that route. Somebody comes into the NFT space. Hey, I'm making comics, and it's just some half-assed thing. They don't really know what they're doing, but just living off the novelty of this is a comic book in NFT format. But that's not what Josh has going on. He's brought in some badass guys who know a thing or two about making comics. So, it's an all-star team. Aside from the novelty of it and the packaging he's put together and the creative way in which he's presenting this and putting this out there.
And we haven't even really dropped everybody yet. So it's
right. This is just, he hasn't even scratched the surface.
Man. Yeah. So I guess. No, go ahead.
Yeah, and I love it. It's funny because I'm always, it's funny when someone does something from outside the comic space and it doesn't, the comic nerds don't consider it a real comic. I'm always the one arguing, hey, it's still the medium. All I care about is I'm successful in the medium. There's a big argument now, like that manga is not really comics, but manga is selling more than any other comic. I'm like, it's all comics. Just not comics not comics you like, but it's still the medium, But like with NFTs, I want to bring in the quote unquote real comics and find a way to do that to the comic people that want to be part of this. So we're there will definitely be some super, super crypto niche nerdy stuff in here too. So I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. But it's I love it too, because you can also you don't have to hide how nerve-wracking it is to launch any of these things. Everybody knows it's crazy, and everybody's working all these experimental things. So I'm scared shitless to do this, but it's we've got an awesome team, and I know I can deliver on the side with all of the bringing in all the talent and the art, and finally getting to show off some of my own stuff too, like with the Moon Wars piece. I'm gonna have a lot of fun actually being the artist again, and that's I think anything else I'll just be rambling on and repeating myself. So
well, I think we're just excited for the drop now. I mean,
it's rare in, I guess it's not that rare in this space, but just in general, it's rare where every person involved in every aspect of the project is somebody who's trying to do something cool. Josh on his end is trying to do something cool, and the animators are trying to do something cool, and the people making the comic books are trying to do something cool. They're all trying to put something out there that's worth having and genuinely creative and genuinely valuable. Everybody on the project wants this to be as good as it can be, and they're all taking pride in it. That's a rare thing in the grand scheme of things. Because I mean, how many other creative enterprises are there out there in music or art or comics or movies where you can tell they're just putting something out there? Hey, let's just cash in. Let's cash in. Oh, zombies are hot right now. Let's crap out a zombie movie.
Man.
Or let's crap this out. You can tell a stark difference between that and somebody putting something out and everybody involved wants it to be good.
Yeah. It's something I was talking about this morning to a bunch of friends of mine, but there's a new movie that came out. I'm not going to say the name of it. It's a horror movie on one of the top streaming channels, and it was absolute garbage. And you could tell that it was definitely a cash grab, and there's nothing to it. I mean, they touted that this was going to be in theaters too, and I'm thinking, man, really? You know, and I gotta say the story wasn't very good, but the effects were good, so I give it that. But yeah, and that's how I feel about a lot of stuff going on these days, and it's nice to see, you know, if we bring it back to NFTs in general, we see a lot of that stuff going on. I get a DM every 10 seconds saying, hey, there's a new PFP project or you know, something else or whatever, and it's really hard to find the gems. And honestly, you know, looking at this project and what you're bringing here, I think that that you have a gem, especially, you know, you got great artists, and Josh, I haven't really myself haven't read any of your stuff yet, but you know, I'm intrigued. I'm super intrigued, and I want to. So it's like, you know, bringing that to me, you know, an audience that you haven't had before, I think that's valuable, and I'd like to, you know, I'd like to bring that to the community too. I mean, for me, it sounds like I want to have one of these boxes, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm definitely down. I just, you know, I don't want another cash grab. I don't want something that doesn't have utility. And it looks like you got a lot of thoughtful, you've taken a lot of thoughtful time to really develop this, and you got the right cast of characters that really, and we want innovation. I mean, that's what NFTs are. You know, we want something new, fresh. You know, there's a whole renaissance here that we could talk about for hours, but we want something different. You know, we don't want the norm. We want this.
There's, you know, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, go ahead. No, that's.
I kind of one thing that goes beyond this too. I kind of left out was that we have our Genesis boxels to create that sort of, you know, incentive to help get this thing going and like incentivize everyone to come in early. But down the road, the way it's structured is each new little boxel drop can have its own incentives. So as we start to partner with different creators and publishers, we're going to be asking them like, hey, what do you want to do to incentivize your fan base with this? So if we partner with, you know, another indie comic publisher, and they say, well, we want to give special access to Comic-Cons, you know, in the real world, for all of our boxels, we can do that, you know. Or if we want to give an art auction, we want to give like a random art giveaway, you know, things like that. We can work with them to just keep layering what all the incentives can be, which will go back to incentivizing you. You know, that's why people might want to hold on those Genesis boxels and wait to see how creative the publishers start to get themselves after they've done this a few times. You know, so it's you know, little bit of game theory there.
I think using people's sense of competition against each is going to be beneficial to the whole thing, because like you said, other publishers, indie publishers in general, are a little bit more competitive because they have to be, and a little more innovative because they have to be. And you're providing an outlet here where they see someone else do something. Oh, I can try something new. Okay, well, watch this. I've had this idea in the holster forever, but I haven't been able to do it. But now I can.
Yeah, and then hopefully like Marvel or DC are locked into VV contracts for like 2 years and like miss all these opportunities.
Well, by the time it goes through committee, it'll be, you know, we'll have moved on to an NFT that's a hologram that walks around your house and just tells you the story. So, all right. So then Superman comes in, right?
You saw those Snapchat glasses, didn't you? Like there was one. At first I wanted to do all this stuff, and I wanted to do like real life wearables, you know, that would work in crypto voxels, but also work at Comic-Cons once the technology was available. And but we were going to coin it as cosplay, you know, which is just now I've decided, like, I just was biting off more than I could chew. But sure as shit not, I saw like on Twitter the other day, you know, Snapchat's got the glasses, and they were doing the AR wearables where some girl's just like this crazy little anime character. Wow. And, you know, walking down the street right in the middle of the streets. I think it was in Japan. She's just in the middle of the street outside, and it detected that was her, and it kind of like how Felocious did with the shoes, where you could try on his shoes on Snapchat, but like the whole body. So the Comic-Con experience in probably about 5 years is going to be about 20 different experiences going on at the same time for different people. if you're a manga nerd, that whole comic is gonna be manga to you. And if you are, if you only, if you love, steampunk or whatever, you're gonna be like, I want to have the Read Pop steampunk experience at New York Comic Con this year, and
everybody who walks in will be
stuff.
Yeah, everybody who walks in, they'll have to have the dots on their face and the green screen outfit, so that you are just whatever anyone wants to see. So it'll be nice because there won't be anybody ugly there. You just put your glasses on, and everybody's well groomed. Oh, look at what a beautiful place this is! Look at all the lovely people.
Yeah, you go.
Then you take the glasses off. Oh, good Lord! There we go. That's much better.
Yeah. Woo, I like all my friends. I don't want to actually, like, when people finally meet each other for the first time who've been friends in the metaverse for like years, they're gonna all have a pact. Like, you know what? Let's promise not to see what each other really looks like. We're only gonna see our avatars in the real world too, and we're gonna have dinner. And just all these little animations sitting there eating.
Oh man,
the future is gonna be weird. I'm here for it.
I'm game for it for sure.
I need to figure out how to. I want to. Okay, don't tell anybody this, guys. Here, my idea is green screen wallpaper, so that your whole house is just green screen and just whatever you want it to be. So, like, if you live in let's say you're a lowlife like myself, and you live in an apartment that's somewhat shabby, you just green screen that, and then when you have company over, it's like the image of a very nice, well-kept house. It's, fancy furniture and everything, and the windows have a nice view of the Eiffel Tower or whatever. Wouldn't that, huh? No, that would be badass. So our green screen paint, right? So I need a company that creates that, and then just everybody's house is just green screen, and on a daily basis, you change what it looks like.
Yeah, and that's an NFT, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, you'd have to pay for the really nice thing.
Like to get a. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen hints of that possibly happening with 3D printed housing, like in the future, where someone will be paid to go in and design your whole house before it's printed, and then but the transaction is going to be as an NFT. Ownership to the design as an NFT, and then you could already do that with any 3D printed thing. So it's funny you mentioned this. I watched 3 people are going to post on the chat like, "Oh, here's my green walls." like I'm already living it.
Well, if I could get like Well Kong or
any artwork you want, any scene you want.
Have that really cool scene, and do a whole illustrated room. That'd be pretty awesome.
Right. You could have movie scenes. You could live inside a movie.
Yeah.
Just be in the middle of I don't know, what's a good one? I was trying to think of the most depressing movie there is to be funny. It's a Wonderful Life. If you just want to live forever in the scene where he's about to jump off the bridge, you can do that. just snow and George Bailey sobbing on the thing about to jump. Ah, Merry Christmas. Isn't this Christmassy?
I thought you were going to go with Apocalypse Now, but that
would have been good.
That works.
I was trying to think of some Clint Eastwood movie, because all of his movies are depressing now. The only one I could think of, $1 Million Baby. If you want to just be there while she bites her tongue off and ends it all, that's what you can live in.
There you go.
I'm always trying to come up with this stuff, and all you got to do is write one sci-fi comic, and then you have an excuse to spend a ridiculous amount of time meditating on this stuff. But I like the comic that we're doing, the Encoded. It takes place in 2055, so I'm always trying to think well, where's things actually going to be then? But you could kind of see almost you could actually start to do time capsules of venues where you start to let's say how many venues or bars have been around for decades. What if you could what if 90s night was actually that you literally saw people who were there in the 90s, you saw what the bar looked like in the 90s.
Oh
that kind of shit.
That would be cool.
What if you went to a club or something? You saw your parents where they met. And you're like, oh no. That kind of stuff is going to be
Or a
crazy, so.
a capsule of stores. Like you go to a Kmart in 1983 and see all the Adidas jumpsuits and stuff. And then the 90s or the 40s.
Periodically just picked up by a random drone. Picked up by a drone at random, be like, okay, twice a year, pick me up and just go drop me off in the middle of the woods with a little cabin with no internet, because I have to like come back down to reality. And please come back and get me.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget that part, because I don't want to be offline that much. Yeah. Like I understand that I'm online too much, but I just want a little break. I don't want enough of a break to be actually healthy. I just want enough of a break to not be completely off the rails.
Yeah. You know, like in the Matrix, they should just find the new rhythm, and like the new Matrix, like where they're like, oh no, we just unplug ourselves like 4 times a year, you know, see what, and then we're like, okay, we're good. We'll go back in.
Oh man. Well, gentlemen, this has been great. You know, it's always nice having Doug here. Josh, it's been a pleasure meeting you and having you on, because it's just it's awesome to hear, you know, people that are really in the space, you know. I mean, listening to you both talk about everything is really what I think our community values the most, if I have to say. You know, people just like the banter, and then you tack on this amazing new project coming out. I think you got a winner. So
thank you. And I'm super geeked to be on the whale community Discord and Twitch. It's like awesome. So been watching from the sidelines on this whole project, you would call it, or you know, phenomenon for a while now too. So thank you very much for having me, everybody, and great to meet the collective audience.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have this launch party, I'm telling you, let me know, and we'll get together and we'll all come hang out with you in Crypto Voxels. Maybe we can have you on a little bit and maybe talk about some of the technical aspects and whatnot, you know, and really dive into it. And then, you know, I'm really looking forward to grabbing one of these Boxels.
Awesome. There also, I'm like, total like promo glitch. If it's not obvious, the Discord's on there. We have an email sign up form, so please join the Blaylock Comics Discord, and there's the Boxels channel in there, and we'll start, you know, keeping people up to date. So thanks again.
Yeah, and don't forget, folks. I mean, we mentioned this auction coming up, and you know, if you bid on the auction, there was some really good alpha for our fans and community. Go check it out. I'm going to drop this. So I'm going to put on, I'm going to do everyone likes pings. So I'm going to do a announcement, and I'll put the Discord on there for those. And so there's a sign up sheet in there somewhere, and, you know, we'll send some people over to the Discord to check it out. And I'll drop the website in here too for people to go and look at it. But yeah, you know, you said if you bid on the auction, that there might be some surprises there. So some great behind the scenes alpha. So definitely check that out. And yeah, I mean, again, we're super excited. So any final words for everybody before we take off?
Well, just thanks for having me on and having us on, and thanks for everybody for listening, and stay tuned, I guess, because we're hard at work over here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh man, you know, I'll have to ask you after this. So stay for a few minutes, because I do have a question for you. All right, everybody, we're gonna sign off, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, bye, everybody.